The true cost of ownership, plus the sheer value I've had from simply owning an original Tesla Model 3, has been nothing short of life-changing. Never has there been a car that's offered so much in so many different ways. And this infectious realisation about Tesla is spreading to countless people every day around the world. From actively avoiding accidents to running costs that barely register if, like me, you can charge from home on a cheap overnight tariff. There's just so much good stuff to tell you, I hardly know where to start, but here's a good place, the beginning. Back in the summer of 2019, we picked up our car and named it Bruce.
Hello.
This was not only my first time driving a Tesla, but also the first time I'd ever bought a new car, because everybody knows that's a stupid waste of money. But was it? Well, no. It's totally worth it. You see, back in those days, there really was no great competition for electric cars, and we really wanted one. I tried squeezing my family into an excellent BMW i3, but it just wasn't big enough for our one-car family needs. Not even the Kia e-Niro had made it to the UK back then. I just couldn't do it though, such drab interior, terrible 0 to 60. For just a bit more money, we could do the Tesla stretch as it's known and buy a car for more, or to be fair, a lot more, than we would usually pay. I'd done my research and already knew the extra value we'd be getting from buying a Tesla, the abundant supercharger network, the performance, the vast interior space, the big boot, the big frunk, over-the-air updates, the groundbreaking software that runs it, and all the fun and uniqueness that brings. Oh, and it drives itself, is one of the safest cars ever tested, and quite frankly, once I understood of Tesla's mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, who else was I going to give my money to? Volkswagen? Jog on with your Dieselgate. It seemed to me as a former petrolhead that a Tesla Model 3 was the most fun product I could buy that just so happens to be a car. How much did I pay for it then? Including the government plug-in grant of £3,500, which was available at the time, it is no more for some stupid reason, plus my slightly indulgent but totally worth it wheels, Bruce cost me £38,790. But here's where it starts to make sense parting with that much money. We've had 0 car payments for 4.5 years now, no tax to pay, no servicing, minimal maintenance being just a set of tyres and a windscreen replacement, which was covered under my insurance anyway. But here's the best bit. For 88% of the past year, I charged in my driveway on an overnight tariff from the wonderful Octopus Energy. Link in the description below if you want to split £100 and join the best energy company there's ever been. Not kidding, they're awesome. So it only cost me 7p per kilowatt hour. The average day rate for electricity is around 32p for comparison. And public EV chargers can cost anywhere between 3 and 85p per kilowatt hour. That's outright robbery from guess who? The most expensive charging companies are BP Pulse and Shell Recharge. Who'd have thought it? But even then, my electricity tariff used to be even cheaper in the good old days of 2020 when Octopus Energy charged just 4 pence per kilowatt hour overnight. Bonkers! That was less than £2 to fill up my battery for around 200 miles of travel. Now it's like £3. No, don't feel bad. I'll be okay. Well, if you insist, support me on Patreon using the link below or chuck us a super thanks as a helpful tip. During the past year, I've driven around 10,000 miles, and here's my running costs. Just £259 a year. And the Tesla app even cleverly calculates my petrol savings from local fuel station prices for the average car. But when comparing my old, very thirsty Mini Cooper S four-wheel drive SUV thing, that would at today's prices cost me around £2,000 per year to fill up. And that's a savings calculated over 4.5 years of almost £8,000. Of money that I haven't wasted by burning it. Year after year. Seems pretty good, don't you think? Imagine after 10 years of driving an EV. That's £17,500 in fuel savings alone. Not to mention the ever-rising price of petrol, which would make the savings even greater. Then there's the option of investing in home solar and battery storage, capture and store my own electricity, get free fuel for life and become energy independent. What could be better than that? But going back to money savings from my car, add to that £240 per year in car tax that I no longer pay as EVs are exempt, and that's another £1,080 saved so far. And over the final 3 years of owning the Mini, it cost over £1,000 each year just in maintenance and servicing. All in all, I've saved around £12,000 for simply owning a Tesla. Oh, but what of depreciation, you may be wondering? 'Tis true that Teslas have finally come back to reality and depreciate just like other cars, but currently mine's worth around £23,000 today. So over 4.5 years it's lost around £15,800, which works out to be £3,500 per year, or £292 a month. Not bad at all if you consider typical leasing costs, PCP or whatever. Insurance. Despite already being told on X that the cost of your insurance negates any gas savings, I can confirm that this statement is not true, for me at least. In 2019, it was just £402 for the year with Churchill. That's also for both my wife and I, and we are both travelling wedding musicians, which typically cost a lot more than most normal jobs for some stupid reason. In 2023, it costs £570 to insure us for the year. Not much difference at all when compared to insuring my previous cars. I do hear a lot though about insane Tesla insurance premiums around the world, but can only really share my experience. I guess not opting for the performance version would help, but if you can afford that, who cares about your insurance cost? Enjoy it! You probably worked hard for your money. Well done! And if you didn't know, Tesla does offer car insurance in the US in some states and will expand in time to offer it around the world. At some point. Anyway, there is one more cost I almost forgot to mention, and that's a home charger. This costs £460 for the unit and £500 to install. Totally worth it because it's got a little button on it that when pressed opens your flap. Little things. Oh, and a swishy green light when you're charging. I like that. Little tip, if you are considering a home charger, my advice would be to get a tethered one, which just means that the cable is attached to the unit, kind of like a petrol pump hose. Our old untethered one looked nice and neat on the wall, but getting the cable in and out of the frunk each time you wanted to charge is an unnecessary faff, especially in the wind and rain with your cable getting wet. Just grab it, shove it in, done. I'm like a sex ed teacher. If you're appreciating my efforts here, please do give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Press that bell for notifications of new videos from me and take a look through my previous videos after this one. I've got loads. If you've made it this far, I think you'll like them. My lovely wife has always been an extremely capable, confident driver. I can't do it. I can't lie. Just read it. My lovely wife has always been an extremely capable, confident driver, with just a hint of terror. But nothing short of a miracle has occurred. She now loves driving, thanks to our Tesla. For starters, it can't roll anywhere. It automatically stays put on any gradient. You can't stall it, as there's no gears or clutch. It automatically applies the handbrake if you forget and get out of the car. It has excellent visibility thanks to the glass and exterior cameras when reversing. Tesla really has cured her slight driving anxiety and boosted her confidence whilst driving, which I think is fantastic. This must be playing out around the world with folks that were perhaps not quite as in control of their vehicle as they should have been. Let me know in the comments below if this has happened to you or your spouse. Invaluable safety. Going back to that true value of a Tesla, this trumps everything else. A couple of years back, our car literally took over as we were about to get pit manoeuvred on the motorway at 70 miles per hour with my two little kids in the back. I hadn't even seen the car that was approaching on the outside lane that cut across 2 lanes behind us and into our path. I felt my steering wheel yank me to the left where there was an actual safe space, and it gave a brief beep and red flash on the screen to let me know that there was a bit of a red alert situation. If we'd been in our old car, we would have been hit and spinning around on the motorway like a fidget spinner. If you don't yet know about Tesla's absolute dedication to safety first when not only designing and manufacturing their vehicles, but through the use of software, their incredible active safety features whereby the cameras continually monitor the surroundings and at least warn you of an imminent danger, or at best it will actively avoid a collision entirely, as did happen to me. There's countless clips on Wham Bam Tesla Cam, check it out on YouTube sometime, where someone runs a red light but the Tesla sees them coming and applies the brakes just in time. Until you felt it take over and the quick realisation that it may have just saved you and your family's life, I mean, put a value on that. And some lucky folks that have had horrific accidents have remarkably survived, when there's no doubt if they were in any other vehicle, they would not have survived. Take this chap who was clearly not in a sound mental place when he deliberately drove his family off a 330-foot cliff. After flipping and landing on its wheels, they all survived. Just a little indication of how my brain works. That must have been a very awkward conversation afterwards. Still, I'm glad that they all survived, and he's in prison, hopefully getting the mental help he needs. Another example of Tesla's strength. Usually if a full-size tree lands on your car, that would be the end of you. Not so with Teslas. They really are in a league of their own when it comes to strength and safety. Here's more unexpected crazy value. My car still feels brand new after 4.5 years. And I'm not kidding, brand new. I have looked after it well, I hoover it quite a lot and visited the car wash 100 times. Don't tell the even more obsessed Tesla addicts, they think I should be washing it by hand. Do these look like working hands? Quite frankly, I'd sooner spend a £5. What I'm trying to say is, if well looked after, a Tesla will look and feel like new for years to come. most certainly helped by the ever-improving software and user interface thanks to very regular over-the-air updates, but after all this time, zero rattles, tight handling, the same extreme performance, just a small amount of battery degradation. Let me show you this graph that makes me seem way more intelligent than I really am. Tesla battery degradation falls a bit in the first year or two before staying relatively flat and good for hundreds of thousands of miles. Range is not an issue for me whatsoever, and that's with just the standard range version of 200-ish miles. The new Model 3's minimum range is 300 miles, with the long range being over 400. What a time to be shopping for an EV, and if you do, use my referral link in the description below and get some money off. Is it time to trade mine in yet? As much as I quite fancy the pretty interior lights of the new Model 3 and the rear screen, ventilated seats, ludicrous range of 421 miles at best, and nice exterior styling, I just can't justify changing ours right now. I'm not even slightly bored of it or in need of a new one. Another couple of years perhaps, and maybe. Although if a Cybertruck was on offer, I'll be all over that like a matte black wrap. I cannot believe how cool this truck is. Just look at it, it's from another planet. If you want to know more, I can't stop making videos about it. Click this one next and see for yourself why the Cybertruck is utterly revolutionary. I really hope this video has been useful. Thanks to my terrific Patreon supporters. Join them too if you want to support my mission in FUD-fighting mainstream media and spreading the word that Tesla's the safest, most fun-filled products money can buy. And come and find me on X as well if you like, at Tesla Jigsaw. I'm Will, this is the Tesla Jigsaw. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.